first game that we are going to start with is the Phoenix Suns versus the Denver Nuggets. Now, the Suns won Game 4, 129-124, to even the series up at 2 games apiece. Now, before this series started, I thought it was going to be Suns in 7. After watching the first 2 games, I said, you know what? I'm convinced that this is going to be a Nuggets sweep, maybe a gentleman's sweep, but it's not getting past 5. And obviously, that is now mathematically impossible. We're going 6 minimum. If either team can win both the next ones, and we'll go 6. But if they split, then we're going 7. Now, I do still have a lot of faith in the Nuggets. I'll be honest, because from what I've seen from the Suns, they're just totally relying upon Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. And to those guys' credit, we have to start the show with this. Devin Booker is playing out of his goddamn mind. He scored 36 points on 14 of 18 shooting in the last game and is now shooting at 79% from the field in his last 2 games. He also had 12 assists last game. Guy is just utterly sensational. He's unstoppable. And I'm not joking when I say this. It might sound like hyperbole, because we don't look at Devin Booker as a consensus top 10 player in the NBA. Do we want to run through the list real quick? Let's go. We got Steph, Luka, Giannis, Embiid, Jokic, Durant. Who else we got up there? I went too fast. I messed myself up. Let's slow it down. Okay. We got Steph, Luka, Giannis, Jokic, Embiid, Tatum, Ja. Then we get into the conversations about, did I say Durant? So Durant is 8. We get into the conversations about maybe LeBron. I know some people are out on him. But, I mean, if anyone's averaging 30 points in a regular season, I feel like they still kind of got to be up there. Then we got, obviously, Dame Lillard. We got people from that sort of ilk. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is making a case that he belongs up there. So we've got a lot of talent up at the top. Devin Booker isn't universally recognized as being in that top 10. But what he's done in this playoffs is nothing short of sensational. He's scoring 38 points a game with shooting splits of 62% from the field, 51% from 3, and 87% from the free throw line. He's also giving you 7 assists and 5 rebounds per night. The guy's playing out of his mind. And I'm not joking. Let me get back to my original point. It is not hyperbole to say that Devin Booker is on one of the greatest playoff runs that we have ever seen. Now, if it ends in the second round, it will come to be for nothing. It will be not forgotten, but it won't be historic. But if he makes the NBA Finals, he doesn't even have to win in my book. If he makes the NBA Finals doing what he is doing right now, there's going to have to be serious consideration about if this is the greatest individual playoffs that we've ever seen. I mean, this is a guard, not a Magic Johnson guard who's 6'9". He's 6'5", 6'6" maybe. I would say 6'5", scoring 38 on 60% from the field. And it's just getting better too. He looks better and better as the playoffs go on. This was the knock on the Suns. They were supposed to be getting tired because they were so heavily reliant on Booker and Durant. That's not what's happening. Booker is just getting better and better, and he's playing the best defense of his entire career too. Now, you can get on him and say that it's your 8th season and people still look at you as a young player. It's about time. Nobody saw this coming. Nobody thought Devin Booker was going to be the best player in the playoffs, much less the best player on his team. That was supposed to be Kevin Durant. When Matt Ishbia brought Kevin Durant to the Suns, it was supposed to be the driving force on the championship-winning team. Now, speaking of Matt Ishbia, he got himself into a little altercation with Jokic during the game. Jokic, by the way, 53 points and 11 assists. That's the most points scored in a regulation loss in playoff history, and it's the most combined points and assists, so points responsible for, by a center in NBA playoff history. Ishbia had the ball, loose ball, squirted over in his direction. Jokic goes over to retrieve the ball. I don't think Ishbia actually had it. Some other fan did. But Ishbia starts getting a little handsy with Jokic, and Jokic pushes him off of him. Now, if you look at the letter of the law, if a player enters the stands and makes contact with a fan, then it's an automatic suspension for the next game. So, does Jokic deserve to be suspended? I don't think so. First of all, this wasn't an ordinary fan. This was an owner, and I'm not saying that changes the letter of the law, but I think it changes Ishbia's perception of the power that he had in the situation. It was inappropriate for Matt Ishbia. And as the team owner, you should know that better than anybody. But I also understand that he is more prone to making that mistake than probably anybody in the arena. Ishbia initiated the contact. I don't have a problem with Jokic getting him off of him. Ishbia sold the flop. He looks like Chris Paul out there on the court. More power to him. I mean, he got his team a technical free throw. The Suns go on to win that game, so maybe it worked, whatever. But I think this is a nothing burger that we just got to leave in the past, and I don't really want to talk about it too much. What I do want to talk about is the rest of the players. Jamal Murray didn't show him any love, by the way, 28 points. But other than that, nobody on the Nuggets scored more than 11 points. Michael Porter Jr. had a chance to be the one player who did that, but with 2 minutes left, the Suns are down. The Suns are up 5. They were up 11. The Nuggets come storming back finally. They'd had the door slammed in their face all fourth quarter long. They finally have a chance to come back. And Michael Porter Jr. is in a 3-on-2, and he pulls up for a weird running transition three-pointer. Now, I know he's a great three-point shooter. I know he loves to pull up in transition. But there's something that a lot of players, I think, just don't recognize right now, which is when you have a run going and you're in dire moments, or you're down dire straits, which down 5, 2 minutes left, you are. I mean, it's a 2-possession game. With how easily the Suns are scoring, you know that if you don't score, you're probably going to be down 3 possessions because they're probably going to go the other way and get at least 2, maybe even 3 points. I think that players, it's not that they take bad shots, because, I mean, Porter Jr.'s shot wasn't the smartest of all time, a running 3 in transition with a trailer bearing down on him, by the way, DeAndre Ayton. Ayton almost got a piece of it. In fact, it looked like he missed. It looked like he could have gotten a block if he wanted to. So it's not that it's not the smartest shot in the world, but in this situation, you can almost guarantee 2 points if you take it to the rack. I get that you're trying to swing the momentum with the 3, but at the end of the day, it's more about getting what can you guarantee. And in that case, that was taking it to the cup and getting the 2 points. So that was a big mistake. Now, the Suns bench was actually outstanding in this game, and that was the first time in this series and the first time all playoffs that the Suns have been able to say this. They won the bench battle as far as points, 40-11. Landry Shamet led that effort. He made 5 threes, and he made 4 in the fourth quarter. I mean, between what Booker and Durant were doing, obviously the Suns were in good hands. But whenever they got double teamed, they just swung it over to Shamet in the corner, and he was shooting them all from pretty much the same place. And he made pretty much all of them. And that was another huge reason as to why Denver couldn't come back. So more power to Shamet. I mean, he was awesome. What Monty Williams has done is he's finally realized that the rotation that he was playing was giving basically no support to Durant and Booker. So now he's playing Terrence Ross, TJ Warren, and Landry Shamet, who objectively might be worse players than Torrey Craig and Josh Okogie. I still don't know if I would go that far, but you could make the argument. But what they do have is they do have the ability to space the floor because they're all more consistent shooters. And so when Devin Booker has it going and the Nuggets are coming with the double team, which they were throughout the entire fourth quarter, he's able to swing it to somebody who is going to take the three-point shot. And even if he misses, we saw Jokic was having to be the one to scramble out to the corner to contest on him. That was opening up offensive rebounds for Ayton and Landale and whoever else was mixing it up on the inside. And then, of course, if the shot goes in, that's 3 points. And that's huge. Huge for what the Suns were trying to do. Now, the Nuggets, their starters did not play bad at all. I know it was kind of the Jokic and Murray show, but 4 out of their 5 starters had positive plus minuses. The 3 players who came off the bench for them, -11, -11, -17. Feels like we've come a long way saying that the Suns won the bench battle, and them winning the bench battle was the reason that they won the game. But hey, that's kind of what happened here. Well, shouldn't say it's the reason they won the game. You know, Booker and Durant both going for 36 apiece. That definitely helps. One situation that we do got to monitor moving forward. You know, I love talking about this in every topic. One situation to monitor. The situation to monitor for this series is Jock Landale versus DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton looks terrible. He can't get the fire going. Monty Williams can't get him started. He just doesn't seem like he wants to compete. He doesn't look good at all. In the last 2 games, Ayton has played 53 minutes. He has 12 points and 17 rebounds. In those same last 2 games, Jock Landale has played 43 minutes. He has 14 points and 14 rebounds. So, to break it down, in 10 fewer minutes, Landale has 2 more points and 3 more rebounds. And by my eye test, Landale's given Jokic a lot better of a defensive effort. He's making it a lot tougher on him to score. Now, when someone scores 53, they're going to get it done against whoever. But even the game before, It definitely seemed like they were more effective with Landale in there. And that's why he was in so late in the fourth quarter, because Monty Williams just didn't want to get DeAndre Ayton back out there. You guys know I'm not a fan of DeAndre Ayton. I think if you're trying to compete for a championship, you can't have him on your team because his low motor and the fact that you rely on scoring and productivity from his position. It's a lethal combination, and I mean that in a bad way. It's the lethalness, the lethality dealt towards your team. The Nuggets are favored by 5.5 in Game 5. I'm still on the Nuggets, guys. I took the Suns in Game 1. I've taken the Nuggets in every game since, and I know that's only paid off one time, but the Nuggets are the better team top to bottom. I know Booker has been doing this all playoffs long. I know. But it doesn't change the fact that it's unsustainable. You cannot count on him to do it. If he does it, I will hold my hands up and say this is the best playoff run that any player has ever had. But it's not a safe bet to count on that to happen. So I'm going to go with the Nuggets. Is minus 5.5, a little bit of a big line considering how close the games have been. Sure, if you want to take it down to 3.5, even 4.5, go for it. But I'm going to be on the Nuggets spread.